Okay.
ま、フリーターの私じゃ偉そうなことは言えないけどさ。
Briscoe seemed to be speaking seriously, but Aika skillfully turned it around and make it about the game. Unlike the specialist course, there were no profession squares to choose from on the business course. You must automatically become a white-collar worker. Konomi also picked the business course, and Ririko followed suit.
あら、ルリコも安定志向？
いえ、目下のライバルであるリセさんが不安定な職業に就きましたので。であれば、私は確実にお給料をいただいておこうかと。あなた、勝ちに行ってるわね。
Lastly, Chiho took the specialist course.
お医者さんだってすごい。私も結構な高級取るよ。
いいなあ。もし私が病気になったら友達のよしみでタダで見てね。
そういうイベントあるんですか？
Without our professions chosen, we proceed down the board. There were a lot more expensive than in the junior stage, but our salaries helped to mitigate that. Then the big event arrived, where we're getting married.
これはプレイヤー同士で結婚するのでしょうか？ではマサヤさんは私と結婚ということで。
How come I saw that coming?
ちょっと何勝手なこと言ってるのよ。
プレイヤー同士では結婚できないわよ。チーホも結構怒りんぼね。
怒ってねえです。怒ってないよ。マサヤさんが関わると千穂さんは人が変わってしまうんですよ。何言ってるのよ。そんなことねえですよ。なんだか喋り方が変ね。で、結婚のマスに来るとどうなるの？できるかできないかってか？
結婚は必ずするの。ここではルーレットで家が決まるだけね。高い家をゲットできれば後で資産として計上できるわよ。
After getting married, our lives continue as we dutifully grew our families.
頼むわよ。ここで3が出てくれれば。
3. Oh, I see this. The space is a different color from the others.
やったー！本当に3が出たじゃない。
Aika happily pushed her car forward. I looked at the space and saw that it read Revenge. Revenge? What's that?
さっき言ったでしょ。足を引っ張ることもできるって。これがそれなのよ。
I read the explanation. It says, take 50,000 from a player of your choice.
ここは当然1位のルリコからいただきましょうかしらね。
ひどいです。
Oh, I landed on Revenge too.
マサヤくん、よく見て。それは恩返しよ。
Oh, so it does. That doesn't mean give someone 50,000 to repay a favor they did when you were young.
これでマサヤくんが誰に優勝してほしいかがわかるわね。だってそうじゃない。一生ゲームは最終的にいくら稼いだかで勝ち負けが決まるのよ。大金をいただければそれでぐんと優勝が近づくわね。
Their eyes were terrifying. I guess the question is, who do I want to kiss? Okay, that should be freaking obvious if you guys know me at this point. In all honesty, this mainly because she sort of reminds me of my childhood friend and ex-girlfriend, now that I think about it. Yeah. While I was thinking, Aika looked at me in mild disgust.
マサヤくんも相変わらずはっきりしないわ
Sorry.
ね。じゃあほら、こんなこともあろうかとくじを作っておいてあげたから選びなさいな。
You already were well prepared. Well, in that case, I picked one of the lots. Ayaka's palm and unfolded it. There was a name written on it.
貧乏人にとってはいいボーナスになったわね。
I started counting out the fit and hand over when Risco spoke up.
待って。姉さん、残りのくじ見せてくれる？
Yeah, she was on.
くじなんかに用はないでしょ。
いいから。
Ayaka handed them over reluctantly. Risco quickly reviewed them.
やっぱりね。
What's wrong? She laid the lots out on the board. They all read Ayaka.
バレちゃったか。
普段は物臭なくせにこういうことだけは張り切るんだから。
私やるときはやるのよ。
まったく。じゃあ姉さん以外でじゃんけんで決めましょうか。
ちょっとなんで私を仲間外れに振るのよ。
You cheated.
決まっています。不正なことをしたんだから。
Thank you. In the end, Risco won, and I gave her the 50,000. We're reaching the end of our lives.
あら、何よ。
停電でしょうか。みたいね。
I heard the sound of someone standing up and caught sight of Chiho's silhouette in front of the window.
あー、すごい。熱中していたから気がつかなかったけど、ますます暴風雨になってる。もしかして風で電線が切れてしまったんでしょうか。かな。嫌ですね。雷も怖いですけど、暗いのも苦手なんです。
That's right, she'd been afraid when the power outage in the bath, too.
これじゃあボードの文字もまるで読めないし、仕方がないから中止にしましょうか。
何言ってるのよ。ここまで来てすぐに復旧するわよ。
The power didn't come back on. The room was pitch black. We could hear the sound of the rain outside and the sound of our breathing, too. And I feel like I should fast forward at a point because we go into a sort of panic attack whenever we see fire. As my eyes adjusted to the dark, I was able to vaguely make out the faces of the girls, but there was no way we could continue the game.
参ったわね。結局ここで終わりにするしかないのかしら。
では現時点で1位の人が約束のベーゼを交わすということに。
ただこのままじゃ数えることもできないわよ。結構接戦だったし、ちゃんと数えないと。
She was right. Ayaka had a low salary, but she managed a lucky streak and had prospered more than she had on the junior stage, which meant we have to do a proper count to figure out who placed where.
予測とかないんですか？
ああ、そっか。そういうのもしかしたらキッチンの棚に置いてあるかも。ちょっと待ってて。
Candles, huh? I wasn't really fond of the idea. I didn't want to end the game here, but a part of me was hoping she wouldn't find candles. Unfortunately, I heard eerie voice a moment later.
あったわよ。これで数えることくらいならできそうね。
Let the fast forwarding begin, because I'm not willing to see a panic attack Messiah. Um.
ということで
Ignoring my protest, Ayaka proclaimed in a loud voice.
賭けは続行。ただし勝ち負けはお金じゃなくて早い者勝ちにするわよ。
早い者勝ち？
はいはい、ぐずぐず言わないの。文句のある人は指を加えて見ていればいいんだわ。熱いベーゼをね。
そういうことなら負けません。
Um.
私もです。
Prepare for a count. The air itself seemed to flicker. The silhouettes that had been plastered to the wall began to come together. It was a happy sight, but it was also a bit frightening. I'm preparing my hand for the count. Wow! See, there were 6 people. Were there 6 people? See, Aika, Rise, Ritsuko, Konomi, Rirko, Chio. Yeah, that'll be 6, so that means everyone. And about 30 minutes after we finished the game, the power finally came back. Jeez, there was nothing to do in the dark, and it was too early to sleep, and I ended up just staring into space. I decided to clean up the room first. I had my eyes drawn to the candle, which was hardly burned down at all. Seeing it unlit now, it was clearly a harmless thing. It seemed unbelievable that something so small could have pushed me to the brink of terror. But I was sure that if I lit it again, I pulled out a match, decided to test that theory. My hand began to tremble. Damn it. Becoming more determined, I grabbed my right wrist with my left hand to steady myself, but the shaking wouldn't stop. I gave up, tossed away the matches. The shaking immediately stopped. What's going on here? I have to remember where this phobia of mine came from. It was feeling more and more urgent. How can I make myself remember? I slapped lightly at my forehead with the heel of my hand. Naturally, it didn't help. Whoa. As I went to take a bath, I glanced at the wash basin mirror and let out a cry of surprise. These are lipstick marks, right? Color started to spread across my face. I thought I felt something against my neck in the dark. So that really did happen. The old jumped me, sending me the back of my head against the floor. I could barely tell what was going on. Then the heel left immediately, so I didn't get a chance to ask. I thought back on the sensation. Light smash of warm flesh against my cheek, my forehead, and my neck. I didn't remember feeling any on my lips. That was a good thing, right? It was a good thing, after all. I didn't want a real kiss if we were in love. These were just expressions of affection. There were some girls who wouldn't hesitate as far as that went, but these girls weren't like that. In other words, they followed their feelings. They did this because they had feelings for me, which meant I would have to answer those feelings somehow. Mentally, I understood that, but then why couldn't I conceive myself to do it? Was I really that indecisive? Someone had said that to me recently, and I remember hearing it a long time ago too. As I thought about it, something occurred to me. My indecisiveness might also have started with that event I couldn't remember in my past, that lost memory withered in flames. That hole where the memory should be had a slope like an antlion's den. Was that what was keeping me from moving forward? Or maybe that was all just an excuse to keep me from acknowledging my indecisiveness. I love this game. This game's so fun.
自分を投影するなら、ここはやっぱりフリーダムコースに進みたいところね。
And we're getting a nightmare.
リツコはどうせインテリコースでしょ？ルーレット次第だから。
There's something familiar about those words.
やっぱりね。二人明らかにいいマスばっかりだったもん。これが人徳というものでしょうか。
人徳が関係しているなら、なんで私がビリケツなのよ。
The room was strangely dim. There was something flickering in front of my eyes. Shadows? Yes, they were shadows dancing and filtering above the girls' heads. I didn't like it. The girls didn't seem to notice. Why is it so dark in here? And how are they playing when it's so dark? Of course it was dark, the power was out, then Where was that light coming from? I turned my eyes to the table and realized it. The flame.
今みたいな結果を見るとちょっと怖いけど。
でも私も専門職の方に進むわ。
Okay, this is horrifying. I quickly turned towards the strange voice. Her eyes.
なんだか喋り方が変ね。
変ね。変ね。
Okay. Oh, no, 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 no. I accidentally clicked on my Minecraft. No, that wasn't right.
私、ろうそくの炎とかって炎
Flame. Whoa. Flames that are all around us.
これはプレイヤー同士で結婚するのでしょうか。ではマサヤさんは私と結婚ということで。
ちょっと何勝手なこと言ってるのよ。
Wait, you guys, this is no time to be playing games. I screamed so loud that I thought my lungs would burst. When my words didn't seem to reach them, they kept looking at the board, laughing and talking. They're already surrounded by flames. I watched in terror.
みんな
Even amidst the roaring of the flames, her voice stood out in sharp
みん
relief.
な燃えてしまえばいい。
Not all the girls were playing the game. Bryce alone was staring down at the floor. Her hands hanging limp. Nipping at her side, she stood out clearly from the circle.
しまえ
What is... I spun around quickly the window. I got to get out. No, I have to get her out. But who? Ah, the name of the girl... What was it? It was like the name of an animal. Animal. Dog. No, that's not it. That was my name. I threw the window open wide. In that instant, a screaming echoed from my lips. And I am getting goosebumps here. What the hell? I was already surrounded by flames. You guys? I spun around, but there was no one there. No, there was one person. You guys probably can't see that, but my hairs are actually jumping. Standing in front of the shrine gate was her. We have to get out of here. But where could we go? Flames were like walls around us. Felt a tug on the shirt on my back.
どうしましょう。シアン。ねえ驚かないで聞いてね。あの人は私の。
That's it. Cried out as I remember what I was carrying in my hand. Here it is. I brought out the toy slingshot I had bought earlier. It's dangerous, so don't point it at people. That's what the man who sold it to me said. I'm going to hit her with this. Once I hear her, you run out, okay? I heard a sound like a choke and looked up from my hand. The girl had drawn closer to me than before.
お前がいるから。
What was she talking about? I was afraid. Not just of the knife in her hand. The voice seemed to resound all around me from some distant place. She glared at me, her face twisted with hatred. That's why I was afraid.
お前さえいなければ。
The air around us was wavering in the heat. Previously, the woman's form had wavered from it. Now she was slowly coming closer.
お前さ
It was terrifying.
えお前が。
I began to draw away, hiding the girl behind me.
お前なんか。
The woman raised her right hand. The cold steel flickered in the lights of the flame, sparkling like the light of sunset. I gripped the slingshot tightly in my trembling hand. I wasn't sure how well I could aim, but at this range I probably couldn't miss. Pulled back on the band. When I released it, I think the woman was saying something in that moment. It hit. Struck in the forehead, she slouched forward. The way that she shook her head back and forth reminded me of a lion dance I had seen once. Now, I grabbed her by the hand and pulled. But for some reason her body felt heavy. I didn't seem like a walk. She was walking on her own power. This. I turned back uneasily. Her eyes were focused on the ground. Even surrounded by the fire, the skin scorching heat, Liz's face seemed to be clad in shadow. What? Come on, we have to go. I gave her another hard tug behind me. I could hear a sharp sound different from the roar of the flame, almost like a sharp wind. The woman was swinging the knife madly, her other hand clinging against her bleeding forehead. If we got too close to the flame, our clothes would catch fire. We had to slip by her as close as possible, but the way she was swinging that knife, that was going to be easy. But there was only one way out. The shrine gate was the only safe route. The woman was standing in front of it, which meant that we had to slip past her. Let's go. Took her hand once more. She nodded. The despondency had lasted only for a moment before the strength returned to her eyes. I calculated the timing carefully, leaped at her in the middle of the swing. And even though we were past her, we still weren't safe. Her footsteps felt a presence behind me. It felt like a nightmare, like being chased by a monster to the ends of the earth. But my steps began to waver. As I did, I could see Liz ahead of me, running. Good, now we're safe. Suddenly, I felt like a burning pain run along my back. The next moment, my shirt was wet and clinging to my skin. Sweat? No, not this suddenly. I tripped over my own leg the moment it sent me flying. The ground was approaching fast. It all happened suddenly. I couldn't shield my body from the impact. Full hurt struck the ground and my neck jerked upwards. I bounced once, then fell again. The starry sky spread out before me, glowing in red. A strange moan trailed off and I let out a big sigh. My back was aching as if I was being pulled upwards. I had to exert conscious, forced to relax. The bed below was pleasant and comfortable. I sank back into it, letting it swallow me up. The air conditioning was running at full power, yet my whole body was soaked with sweat. My shirt, it's sticky with sweat. In that moment, I felt like I remembered something, but only went as far as a vague feeling of reconnection. And in the end, I couldn't bring the memory into focus. It was like a thin yet durable sheet of rubber. On the other side of that sheet was my lost memory. I thought that if I changed it, I could break through. But in the end, I just bounced back. Ow. The words drifted from my mouth as I rode at my back. Anytime I had that nightmare about the flames, for some reason it caused a stinging sensation in my back. It disappeared as soon as I woke up, so it probably wasn't worth worrying about, but it didn't feel great either. Also, this game too great. Summer vacation had begun. The majority of students had gone home, and the dorms had fallen quite in the midsummer air. Walking in the corridors or eating in the dining hall, it was a rare sight to see a single other face. I was usually around my room anyway, so that was no big change, but there was still a strange feeling of isolation there. You could tell whether there were people around or not by the atmosphere. It's said that a house quickly goes to the elements after people stop living in it. Maybe I was seeing that in action. But more so than the atmosphere, there were my friends. As we had discussed, they all had gone home except for Rise. Saying goodbye to the friends I spent so much time with was truly a lonely feeling. But Chiho and Aika said they'll be coming back soon. So I decided to endure until then and focused on my homework. But they really did give us a lot. Started at the pile of homework on the table, wow, with a feeling of misgiving. Perhaps this was the invisible expression of fastness will keep the students in line even during summer vacation. Shiho came back after about a week and we decided to work on our homework
そ
together.
っちは変わりはなかった？
Nothing. What about you, Gio?
親はいつも通りだった。あとは小学校とか中学の時の友達と会ったりして。
Oh, I see. I wish I could see them too. I wasn't sure what I would say to them after running off the way I had, but I couldn't see any reason I should
みんな
try.
びっくりしていた
I'm
よ。
gonna try.
マサヤがバンセンヌにいるって知ったら。
I guess that stands to reason.
ねえ、中2の時一緒のクラスだったサトチンって覚えてる？
Yeah, she was a quiet one with braids. What about her?
彼女ずっと小説を書いていたらしいんだけど、この前それが何かの賞で入選したんだって。すごくない？
Oh, that's right. She never talked much during breaks. She was always writing something.
そうそう、それでさ。あ、ごめん、知らない人のことで盛り上がっちゃって。ああ、いいえ。まあ、マサヤも友達に会いに行ってみたら？
Let me see. I guess I could take a day
日
trip.
帰り？
Well, it would be strange spending the night in that apartment.
泊まるって一応は自分の家なんでしょ？
Oh, yeah, but
元住んでいた家にはもう戻れないの？
they already repossessed it. And apparently that's standard procedure when someone runs out on
そ
debt.
っか、そうだよね。だって私見に行ったもの。
My old place?
うん、
Since Shiho and I went to the same middle school, naturally our houses were close by.
知らない人が住んでた。それ見て私ちょっと寂しくなっちゃった。家に上がったことはなかったけど、おばさんが出て行った後、たまに様子を見に行ったことはあったでしょ。だから知らない人が当たり前みたいな顔で玄関を出入りしているの、なんか違和感があった。
I'm grateful of what you did for me back then. Shiho shook her head silently, but I really did feel grateful to her. When Shiho came by to see me, she wasn't just visiting. Sometimes she came with food. She said we just had more than we could eat to make it feel less like charity. After my parents' divorce, my eating habits had become vastly poorer. Of course, I cooked for myself, but without money to spend, there were limits to what I could do. When she came to help us like that, it always brought tears of joy to my eyes.
うちの親も心配していたよ。バンセンヌにいるって聞いたらさすがにびっくりしていたけど。
Let's just stop by and say
挨
hi.
拶？
Let them know I made it back safely. My beat up old apartment isn't that far from there.
まあ、顔を見せれば二人も喜ぶよ、きっと。
Sure.
あ、ごめん、また二人にしかわからない話しちゃって。
Sorry.
ううん。でも、なんだか羨ましいわ。バンセンヌでは幼馴染っていないから。でも、ずっと寮生活なんでしょ？だったら全員がそうとも言えるんじゃない？どうかしら。それでもなんとなく千穂さんとマサヤさんみたいな関係とは違うと思うわ。関係って別に特別なことなんか何もないわよ。ねえ。
Yeah. Silence fell over the group. I turned my eyes back to my notes. Sadly, my understanding of the formulas had vanished from my mind.
なんていうのかしら。もちろん仲がいいとかそうでもないっていうのは私たちの間にもあるのだけど、
Rice spoke as she wrote.
この人こそが幼馴染なんだっていうのは多分ないの。だからそういうのに少し憧れを感じるわ。幼馴染ってなんだろう。あら、それは二人の方がご存知なんじゃなくて？
Hmm? I looked up from my notes and looked straight at Chiho.
それ
At least try to put a positive spin on it.
うるさいわね。あんたなんかそれで十分なの。
But in reality, I wondered what the childhood friend relationship really was. I gazed at Chiho's profile. There were a lot of people I stayed good friends with after I graduated elementary school, all of them boys. They were friends from elementary school, so they should be my friends too, but Chiho was something else. There was something different about her. It's just the difference between boys and girls? I'm not really sure. I guess it really is like being stuck together in the end.
そうなんだ。
Alright, you Matt, you said the same thing. And the next part.